am heading over to my mom's house to give her some tips and advice and locations to plant those cute things that we picked up at Home Depot. Let's go! Ever want to get in good with your parents, become an ambassador for a plant company, and then help them do their yard? Solid strategy. Now, my mom lives in a beautiful craftsman style home. It's stucco. It's gray with a bright red door. When she was building this house, she told them she wanted the brightest red they had in the deck, so that is the color that her door is painted. She loves geraniums and always picks those as her favorite annual. They do great in our climate here in Utah. They are very drought tolerant. She likes to come out and deadhead them in the mornings when she's doing her routine, so that has always worked awesome for her. Now, as far as garden design goes, if you need some help with design, I do offer garden design consults. And they're an hour long. You can just book it we can do Zoom if you're not a local. If you're a local, I'm happy to come and check out your space and see all the fun things and help you come up with a plan. So when you talk to a landscape architect or your landscaper, you can kind of tell them some things. And I like to come up with ideas that you might not have thought of too. Now, as far as a design consult for mom, what we're doing is we gave her a nice background of an evergreen laurel. She gets morning sun on this side, so the laurel does really well in her space. It's a slow grower. So it's fairly low maintenance for her as far as pruning goes, which is why we picked it for her space. She used to have grasses, but she's actually got a grass allergy, so those had to go, and these came in instead. As she ages, she'll be able to stop planting annuals in the front, and she'll still have these beautiful low maintenance shrubs to fill up that space and look good year round. So that was kind of my plan in planting these specifically in her yard. She has a very narrow bed, and what we've done is added a couple different spaces for spring, summer, and fall interest. It's so windy. We've added a couple spaces for spring, summer. It's so windy, the shovel is blowing away on her porch right now. Now, because our beds are nice and narrow, we have to kind of thoughtfully think about what we're going to put as far as annuals. We want to have color blooming all season or have the option to add a couple little pops here and there. We're actually placing some perennials today. We got some of the beautiful fall mums at Home Depot. You can see one of my previous videos on that. I have two that I just posted. We liked buying the tiny little size because by next summer, they'll get nice and big and beautiful and round like a basketball. I'll post some things showing how I get mine to bloom so well next spring. Or maybe I'll start them sooner than that, and you can just save it and apply the principles next spring. We're gonna go space those mums out in the nice small little pots and plant some places. She also has some tick seed, which is a beautiful summer. So we have mums for the fall, tick seed for the summer. She loves her alyssum is doing so well in her yard. I think it's helped a lot with pest control. We get ladybugs. I know that's controversial, but we do get ladybugs every year and add them to both of our gardens. It's worked great for me. You see different things online. I don't know. But as for now, we're still doing ladybugs, and ladybugs actually love alyssum. So we have a lot of it in both of our gardens right now. So let's walk through really quick and I will show you our plan. Here are her flower beds as they stand today. She's already started placing some of the mums in the beds. You can see the beautiful laurels. And then she's got her porch with her planter boxes up on top where we put her annuals every year. She, like I said, loves geraniums. So we're gonna start laying out these mums and getting them in the ground. What we talked a little bit about is placing the mums so that she can have space in between. The color of these mums might not be the exact same yellow as these, but she has company coming into town, so we're gonna keep those for now, and she can pull them at the end of the season. So we're spacing these as if those mums don't exist. And I'm having her space them so that there's a gap in between so we can do pansies in the spring back behind. We can also do pansies here mixed in with the alyssum next year. That's actually what we did this year. And then the alyssum, as the pansies have died off, has just filled right in and looks amazing. Now, while we were at Home Depot, we also picked up this beautiful tick seed. And the tick seed is a great summer annual. This is grown here locally. Even though it's sold at Home Depot, it's grown by a local company called Olson's Greenhouse Gardens. And we love this size. It is so easy for her or I to plant. You'll get it. If you've planted a lot of stuff, if you're on a gardening channel, you know what I'm talking about. This size is amazing. These were $5.98 and we love it. So the tick seed is going to go kind of interspersed around in the second row in between the alyssum and the mums. I'm giving them kind of a list of things And then I've got to run and edit some videos, and I'll come back and show you the final result after they've gotten everything all planted in. But that's the plan for these guys. It's going to look amazing. I'm really excited to see it. The pollinators are going to love this as well. I always love a good before shot, and I finally remembered to take one for you. So take it all in. You can see the mums from over the years kind of in there that we're eventually going to pull out. You can see some of the mums we're getting ready to place. Now, Mom also wanted to do a little makeover on her 2 planters. These are self-watering planters up by her door. And those grasses actually aren't planted in the planters yet. They're just sitting right behind the planters. I was explaining to her the way that I thought would look the best. She's going to keep the creeping Jenny in the front of the planters and put in the grasses, the mums, the pansies. And then we also have some kale for her to put in these as well. So she'll have a really great, beautiful fall blooming planter just to change things up a little bit. Even though they look so good right now, she was kind of excited to try something new and get a little fresh front porch doorstep here. I'll be honest, I did say she's allergic to grasses, so we will see how these 2 do. She's not sitting right here by the door. Mostly she's just coming in and out. Where the grasses that were where the laurels are, she was sitting behind those. So I'm hoping that these don't bother her. If they do, I'll just pull them out and take them over to my house, I guess. But yeah, these are the cute pansies. The jewel tones look really great with her lovely bright, bright red door. And then the yellows always look good too. Now, these next clips I accidentally recorded on slow-mo, so enjoy that because I am just telling you and showing how large that those tiny little mums can grow by next season. They'll easily be as big as these as long as they get established this fall. So we just need to keep an eye on them before the ground freezes and make sure that the roots are growing in, and then they'll be big and round and beautiful just like this by next year. But I mean, that wind and my hair and slow-mo, good times, good times. The mums I'm showing in this exact clip are actually the ones that we bought to go by her door. Those 2 mums we're just using as annuals, and we'll pull them out at the end of the season because she has cute little trees that she likes to put there instead for Christmas. So you can kind of see right here how large these tiny little ones will get by next fall. They'll actually get bigger than this even. I'm predicting very large mums. We will see how they do, but they'll get at least this large by next year, especially with the strategy that I'm going to show you later. Here is the tiny little size that we are planting. They're so cute. It's really simple and easy and cost-effective way to fill in this bed. I like the size of the hole that you need for these. Now, for that bigger mum, you actually don't need a much larger hole to do the mum that is in full bloom in the background here. But these little tiny ones were a great budget-friendly price, so we decided to go with those. And you can see a few of her red wave petunias here in the front. We had some things with drip lines, and obviously we get caterpillars and different things. I don't think petunias are Mom's most favorite flower, so we're going to reassess and go with more of what she loves and not necessarily what I love. My wave petunias always do so great in my yard, but I do a few simple things to take care of them. And I think the main thing in Mom's yard was that we got some pieces to fix a drip line right here in between the rows. There's kind of 3 rows right here, and there's only 2 rows of drip line. So getting that extra row of drip line in here and between the alyssum and the laurels in the back is really going to be so helpful for her. And then she can plant whatever annuals she wants and change them up a little bit every single year. And I know she's really excited about that. I think sometimes buying a larger plant like this large yellow mum can help you visualize the spacing of the plants better. I'm pointing right here to where I want her to put the tick seed. Even though that mum from before is right there, I just want her to kind of scoot it back and stick her tick seed right here in between these 2. That's my plan. And so that's the spot that I think it will do the best and look the best and the most balanced. She likes very symmetrical plantings, and so I think the mathematicalness of this will make it easier for her. And here comes the tick seed. So she wasn't quite seeing the vision. You can see she put it right next to the mum and like right in front of the mum, which also could be really great, except I think it will still be blooming at the same time as this mum. So I want it to move more to her left in between the 2 mums. And that's eventually where we ended up planting it. I wanted kind of a staggered feeling in between those 2. Sorry, it's slow-mo, so it's, we're getting there. Now she's getting to see where to just kind of scoot the mum over, and then she can stick it right underneath. And then as soon as her friend comes, she'll just pull that mum out and be done. So it's not quite there yet. She's still moving. I kept saying 6 inches to the left, 6 inches to the left, Mom. More to the left, more to the left. Anyway, I'll cut this and you get the idea of where it's going. Here we go. Now we finally got it into the perfect placement of what I had in mind. And I think that will work the best for her too. It's going to look really great right there. And since the alyssum is just an annual in the front, she'll have plenty of space to keep putting plugs of alyssum in and also still have this perennial be in that spot. Well, it's time for me to go edit, so I set up a camera for Mom to take some time lapses, and I will insert those. We will see how those turned out for getting some things planted in, and then I'll show you the final. Mom is not a videographer, so this is a gift to me that she is willing to tape herself with her own camera and my tripod, installing her own garden. For those of you invested in my watch hours project, this is where we're at. We're getting so close. Thank you so much for all of your support. I really appreciate you. I actually had a minute to kind of illustrate what I envision the seasons looking like in this front bed. So this is how it could look in spring. The alyssum won't be quite as full as this, obviously, and it won't look stamped on. Everything won't be quite this symmetrical across, but Mom has a lot of daffodils planted in here. So I see her adding alyssum and pansies and clumps. And then for summertime, when those daffodils are gone, she'll have tick seeds starting to grow up and bloom, and then she'll still have the pansies and violas and alyssum filling in throughout the middle of the summer. We might even add a few geraniums in there if we can tuck them in before the tick seed gets too big. I really love filling in with annuals while my perennials are growing to maturity. I think it looks so beautiful, and it's such a fun way to play with your space each season. I'm a big fan. And then in the fall, it could look something just like this by next year, which would be really fun and exciting. We could pull up some of that alyssum and put little clumps of pansies there right now if we decided to, and that would be a fantastic choice because some of those would probably most likely root if we got them in early like now and come up again in the springtime. So I really want to leave you with a realistic expectation of what this looks like today and what it looks like right now as it's growing in the fall. So here we go with what it looks like today. And then just remember the picture of what it could look like by next year. And please note, I don't do this as part of my consultations. Maybe I should. Maybe this should be some kind of future offer that I do. But I just thought these would be helpful to illustrate. I do find that laying out the plants like this is really helpful to seeing the vision when you're getting everything planted in. Mom was lucky and had a friend who was able and willing to come and help plant all of these beautiful things for her on this nice, sunny, but crazy weather of a day. We get crazy weather in Utah. I know you do other places as well. We don't get the crazy rainstorms that other people have. That seems pretty stressful to me too, to be planting in the mud. If you live in a place with a lot of rain, drop it in the comments because I'm curious. And I know I have lots of people in Texas too, and they've got some crazy weather. Now, these are the cute porch update that Mom did of her containers up by her front door. If she was at the point where she didn't want to do very much in her yard, I would just leave the laurels and update these for the seasons because this is an easier place for her to reach. It's not quite as far down as doing the beds in ground. And I don't know if you noticed, she even left that mum in its pot and planted it right in here. And then she can swap it out for her trees or for something else later in the season. Sometimes we end up doing 2 mums to get all the way through Thanksgiving. Mums only bloom for 4 to 6 weeks if you're super, super lucky. I know there's people other places who get them to bloom longer, but here in Utah, that's a pretty long time for us. So we kind of do an early mum and then a later mum up by the door, not in the ground. The ones in the ground tend to last a little bit longer, but these up by the door, sometimes it's easier to just pop the whole thing out if it's in the pot. As long as it's getting good enough water while it's down in there from the roots, or if you're making sure that you water the one in the pot and then the water is going through the grower's holes and down into the rest of the plants, then it should be okay. You can see she saved some of those pansies and she's tucking some of those in with the tiniest little ornamental kale, which I don't think you can even see in these videos, but she does have ornamental kale tucked in there too. And she's filling in all the gaps with the dirt right here just to make sure that there's not air pockets, because again, we live in such a dry climate that you don't really want air pockets and air bubbles, or your roots will just dry out so quickly. You really want full contact with all of that soil going around your plants. Okay, and here we are at today. They got all their cute, tiny little plants in there. It looks so good already. And it's just gonna grow and get bigger and bigger. So see these tiny little mums, and there's her tick seed. You can see she cleaned out a bunch of things already. And so that will just fill in and get better and better. And then the little refresh we did on the pots coming up to the door, looking so cute with the grasses blowing in the wind that we have plenty of around here. Just looking really cute and fresh for fall. You washed your hair? I didn't wash my hair. My hair looks kind of, we're just gonna cut that off. There, now it looks good. Okay, so this is what I want to show you. These guys have already seen it. So just, you know, pictures of that's what it could look like by next year. I got you bigger plants.
I want it to look that way this October, though.
Right? It could. It's just what it could look like in the spring with your daffodils, which obviously you have more of them and they're not shaped like this.
They're all in the wrong places right now.
That's okay. We can, you know, they're wherever. Yours are kind of, they're fine where they're at. I'm just saying this just gives you the vibe. And then this will be kind of like your tick seed with the last of your pansies and petunias, your pansies and violas hanging on at the end of the season.
That's so cool that you can do that.
Isn't that amazing? And then, and then fall. And then that's in the summertime. If we didn't do any, I think you should add some geraniums kind of in between while the tick seed and the mums are filling in. I think that'd be easy and fun. Like you could do that if you wanted to, or once we get the drip lines fixed, we could put the petunias or something else, or, you know, those cute little dahlias that we did this year. Those might be really fun to stick. I was just saying how you can put annuals in between as those are filling in. But yeah, isn't that fun to kind of see it like
I like
the different seasons?
That's way cool.
Right? Easy peasy. A lot easier than trying to transfer files from the phone. We had lots of technical glitches today working on this video, but thank you so much for watching. This was really fun to make, and Mom's yard is gonna look really good very soon. It already looks great. You happy with your pots?
I love my pots.
Yeah, your pots look really good. All right.
So happy we did those.
I'm happy we did those too. They're a great focal point up on your porch. Yep. All right. Well, we will see you on the next one. Bye. Bye.